Let's go live to James Morrow and Kosher Garda. The first debate, the presidential debate between Harris and Trump, the view, James Morrow, was from most pundits that Kamala Harris had won that. The result here has flipped with what appeared to be a clear win for Vance.
Yeah, look, Kieran, I don't know what to say except that wasn't a debate as much as it was a murder scene. I thought JD Vance walked all over Tim Walz with that one. He just gave a masterclass in debating. He introduced himself. He was calm. He was focused. He was articulate, and yet he was also always on the attack. And it was really interesting to me, so many times he wound up making Walz get flustered, over so many different issues. And at the same time, he also managed to call out the moderators, who I think were very biased in this. They kept asking questions that were directly targeted at Walz, or rather at Vance and Republican weaknesses, and he turned those around. And there was one moment where, they tried to trip him up on Haitian migrants, and he pushed back very elegantly on that. I thought he did a great job, and I think that, frankly, if I'm the Trump campaign, I'm thinking we need to see a lot more JD Vance out there, and maybe even a little bit less Trump.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he certainly did a lot better than the headliner in the Republican ticket, I would have said. And just to pick up, Kosher, before we go to you, I want to get your thoughts on this. This was JD Vance, the log cabin story. We've heard it. He repeated it many times today, including to kick off.
I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit, because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working class family. My mother required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required Social Security help to raise me, and she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to college on the GI Bill after I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams.
Yeah, so Kosher, he was off to a good start and continued throughout most of the debate. There was a weak spot later on. I'll get to that in a moment, but most of it, he looked like he was on top, Kosher.
Absolutely. I think that was very smart of him to take that first 2 minutes that he was given to step back and introduce himself to anybody who maybe isn't familiar with his personal story, because it really is a remarkable story. Working class, raised by his grandmother, single mother who suffered with drug addiction and so on, to then serve in the Marine Corps, get into Yale Law School, and become what he's become. Everybody loves that story, so it was smart for him to do that. I think it's important to remember that stepping back, debates don't really matter in terms of shifting voters, especially vice presidential debates, and especially this late in the game. Where they do matter is about just polishing off the closing arguments, because this is likely the last debate between the two tickets. And Vance did an excellent job there, as James and others have said. And the other place where it matters is for personal political profile. And I have to say, Kieran, that a star is born after this debate. This debate is going to be remembered, I think, as something that's going to further take Vance, who's only 40 years old, into a different stratosphere politically. And the closest example I can think of is Barack Obama giving the DNC address in 2004 really launched him to stratospheric levels in the Democrat arena. And I think this is somewhere in that, based on his performance today, for what it means beyond this election.
I do want to get your thoughts, both of you, on the question which was near the end. I think this was Walz's best part of the debate. Vance, on the handing over of power, that question, did Trump win? He said, I want to focus on the future. A little bit messy there, but as we've said, dominated the vast bulk of the debate, including this interaction with the moderators.
Just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank you,
Margaret. The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on.
Thank you, Senator.
That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
Yeah, James Morrow, the moderator, really misread that. He said, no, I'm going to respond and I'm going to finish what I'm going to say. Then they had to shut his mic down.
Yeah, I mean, and so the background to this was, of course, around the whole issue of all the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. And what this is all about here is the moderators trying to cover for the Harris-Biden administration here, because those Haitians were flown in, as well as migrants from a lot of other countries, and dropped into communities all around the country that didn't ask for them, by the way. So what he was doing, they were saying that, no, these actually were brought in by the Harris administration, by the Biden administration, and they are responsible for this presence here. This is an absolute policy of the Harris-Biden administration's immigration program, and they tried to cut him off and act like, oh, no, they're here legally, and that's it. But no, they're there legally because they were flown in deliberately by Biden-Harris.
Yeah.